The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was a famous hunter named Rainsford. He loved to travel the world, seeking the most exciting adventures. One day, he and his friend Whitney were sailing on a grand yacht through the mysterious Caribbean Sea. "Over there to the right somewhere is a large island," said Whitney, pointing into the darkness. "It's rather a mystery." "What island is it?" asked Rainsford, curious as always. "The old maps call it Ship Trap Island," Whitney replied. "It's a suggestive name, isn't it? Sailors have a curious dread of the place. I don't know why. Some superstition." "Can't see it," remarked Rainsford, trying to peer through the thick, warm night that pressed upon the yacht like a heavy blanket. "You've got good eyes," said Whitney with a laugh, "but even you can't see 4 miles or so through a moonless Caribbean night." Rainsford agreed, feeling the night like moist black velvet. The two friends talked about their upcoming hunting trip in the Amazon, where they hoped to catch jaguars. Rainsford was excited, but Whitney wondered how the jaguars felt about being hunted. "Who cares how a jaguar feels?" laughed Rainsford. "The world is made up of 2 classes, the hunters and the huntees. Luckily, you and I are hunters." As the night grew darker, Whitney went to bed, but Rainsford stayed on deck, enjoying the warm, quiet night. Suddenly, he heard a strange noise. It was the sound of gunshots coming from the mysterious island. Intrigued, he leaned over the rail to listen more closely, but lost his balance and fell into the sea with a splash. Desperately, Rainsford swam towards the island where he heard the gunshots, hoping to find help. After a long and exhausting swim, he finally reached the shore, pulled himself up, and collapsed into a deep sleep. When Rainsford woke up, the sun was high in the sky and he felt a sharp hunger. He decided to explore the island, hoping to find food and perhaps the people who had fired the gunshots. As he wandered through the dense jungle, he came across signs of a struggle and found a small, glittering object on the ground, an empty cartridge. "A .22, he remarked. "That's odd. It must have been a fairly large animal, too." Following the tracks, Rainsford came upon a magnificent chateau, a grand house with pointed towers. He approached and knocked on the massive door, which opened to reveal the largest man he had ever seen. Ivan, a giant with a long black beard, holding a long-barreled revolver. "Don't be alarmed," said Rainsford, smiling. "I'm no robber. I fell off a yacht. My name is Sanger Rainsford of New York City." Just then, another man appeared, elegantly dressed and with a charming smile. "It is a great pleasure and honor to welcome Mr. Sanger Rainsford, the celebrated hunter, to my home," said the man, introducing himself as General Zaroff. Rainsford quickly realized that General Zaroff was not just any ordinary man. He was a hunter like Rainsford, but with a peculiar taste for adventure. As they dined together in the grand hall filled with hunting trophies, General Zaroff shared his passion for hunting. "You see, I have found the most exciting hunting on this island," said Zaroff with a mysterious smile. "I have invented a new sensation. I hunt the most dangerous game." Rainsford was puzzled. "Is there big game on this island?" "The biggest," nodded Zaroff. "I hunt men." Rainsford was shocked. "Hunting men? That's murder." General Zaroff laughed. "Life is for the strong, to be lived by the strong, and if needs be, taken by the strong. The weak were put here to give the strong pleasure." Rainsford knew he had to escape. The next day, Zaroff announced they would go hunting together, but Rainsford refused. Zaroff, however, insisted that Rainsford participate in his deadly game, giving him a head start to run and hide. With every ounce of his strength and cunning, Rainsford used all his hunting skills to evade Zaroff. He set traps and doubled back on his trail, but Zaroff was a master hunter. Rainsford knew he had to stay calm and think clearly. As night fell, Rainsford heard the baying of Zaroff's hounds. He knew he was running out of time. After deep thought, he decided to prepare a few traps. The first trap was a Malay man-catcher. He set up a large dead tree so it was leaning against a smaller living one, ready to fall. When Zaroff approached, The triggered branch snapped, sending the heavy tree crashing down. Zaroff, quick on his feet, managed to dodge, suffering only a minor injury. Though wounded, Zaroff continued his pursuit. Next, Rainsford prepared a Burmese tiger pit. He dug a deep pit and planted sharp stakes at the bottom, covering it with branches and leaves. When Zaroff's hound fell into the trap with a sharp cry, Zaroff realized what had happened but pressed on. For his final trap, Rainsford tied his hunting knife to a young, springy sapling. He bent the sapling back and secured it with a wild grapevine, positioning the blade to point down the trail. As Ivan, Zaroff's assistant, led the hounds, the knife sprang free, striking Ivan and knocking him down. With only Zaroff left, Rainsford knew the general would continue hunting him with the remaining dogs. Out of options, and with nowhere left to run, Rainsford made a desperate choice. Standing at the edge of a cliff, he looked down at the roaring sea below. With no other choice, he leaped into the water, hoping to swim to safety. Zaroff, seeing Rainsford jump, assumed he had perished in the sea. Satisfied with another successful hunt, he returned to his chateau. But that night, when Zaroff went to his bedroom, he found Rainsford waiting for him. "Rainsford!" exclaimed Zaroff. "How did you get here?" "I swam," Rainsford replied. "I found it quicker than walking through the jungle." Zaroff smiled, offering his congratulations. "Congratulations, you have won the game." But Rainsford was not interested in winning a game. He wanted to end this nightmare. "Get ready, General Zaroff." The next morning, Rainsford slept peacefully in Zaroff's bed, having finally ended the most dangerous game. And so, Rainsford learned that sometimes the hunter can become the hunted, and that true courage and cleverness can help you survive even the most perilous adventures. The end.